Hosted by www.rei-tv.com. I'm your host, Nick. Today's Newbie Tuesday, and I'm glad you made it. I want to help you out, especially if you're a newer investor. We're going to talk about something that you experienced guys should have down pat, but if you're new, it might be something you want to learn about. So get out the pen and paper and take some notes. We're talking about how to build a buyer's list. You know, there's nothing more satisfying. Well, I mean, you know, there are things more satisfying, but there's nothing in the real estate business that's better than getting a house under contract, sending out one email or making a few phone calls and having that house sold within a few hours or a day or two. So we're going to talk about building it. Now, there's different types of buyer's lists that you might want to build. There's retail buyer's lists when you're selling those pretty houses that you have an option on. There's lease option buyer's lists, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about how to build a wholesale buyer's list. So when you get a contract on that junker down the road, that ugly house that you got a deal on, you have somebody to sign that contract to or flip that house to nice and quick. Because again, we're flipping right here, and that's what we want to make sure you're doing. Now, there's a lot of different ways to build a buyer's list. Some of them that cost some money, but we don't want you to spend any money, Jack. Or spend any Jack. That wasn't funny, was it? In any case, we're going to teach you how to do it for free. Give you some examples. Take out your pen and paper and let's get going. First off, I do suggest that you have a website. It could be a one-page website that just introduces you. I'm a professional house buyer. Many times I find houses that I can't at this point rehab myself. Therefore, I'd like to give you the opportunity to buy these houses at a great price. And they just fill in their information and it comes right to you and it gets added to their list. So when you come up with a new property that you're selling, all you got to do is send out one email and have it automatically go to your whole list. Now, I know that can cost a little bit of money. If you know how to do it yourself, though, you're not going to have to spend much money to do it. As a matter of fact, I just came up with this. Here's what I'm going to do. For the people that are members of rei-tv.com, I'm going to do a seminar, a teleseminar over the next couple weeks and teach you guys how for about $50 you can set up a one-page website of your own with an autoresponder system. So all you do, basically, whenever you advertise, you just tell people, go to this website. They go there, they put in their information, they instantly get an email from you, and then when you want to send out an email to your whole list, tell them about a deal that you have available, you just write it once and it goes out to all of them. So if you're not a free member at this point, put your name, go to that little form right down there or up there, depending on where this is. It's on the front page, I'm sure. And become a free member. That way you'll have access to that teleseminar. Now, obviously, depending on when you're watching this, it might have already been made. So if you're listening to this after the launch, so if you're listening to this after like the middle of May, all you need to do is, if you're a member, just go to the free member section and I'll have a recording of that. But I will teach you how to set all that up for less than $50 on your own. So look forward to that. If we're in the pre-launch, which today we are, fill in your name below and we'll make sure you get the information on how to attend. So now here's what you're going to do. And you know what I might do? And I'm ringing the bell there because it's a disclaimer. That's my disclaimer bell. I might even be able to do this where anyone that decides to join the little higher level, the paid level of membership, gets it free as part of your membership. Where just by joining, you'll automatically have a website set up for you that you can just drive people to and automatically send all your. I might give that to everybody for nothing. Again, I'll ring the bell because I got to look into it. And for those of you that are on the pre-launch list, if you're listening to this before the launch, you're going to have access to that higher level of membership for about $15 or $17 a month. It's going to be a lot more than that, but those of you that are on the pre-launch list are going to have access to that for about $17 a month. So make sure you're on the list. Now, forget all that. Let's get going here. First off, free ways that you can build your list. One is with the online sources. Craigslist, www.craigslist.com, www.kijiji, Kijiji.com, www.backpage.com. So Backpage, Kijiji, and Craigslist, and any other free classified websites that you know of. You want to have a post, and I would every day, if I were you, I would go post there an ad that says that you're selling houses. So basically, you're going to put wholesale properties available. and then you're going to write in the copy of it. Think of something a little flashier, though, than that. Be a little bit creative with your headline. You know, something like, the other guys just walk, we talk, or something like that. Or they talk, we walk. Think of something creative. But you want an ad on those sites, and you want to post it, if not every day, at least a few times a week, that lets people know you got the houses, you got houses. So are you a rehabber? Do you renovate houses for a living? We've got the deals. Please either go to this website and fill out the information once you got the website, or call this number and ask for me, and I'll give you all the information. You want to start developing that list. Now, when you post that on Craigslist, you want to use good keywords. You want to put lines in there that say things like, we buy houses, handyman special, sell houses fast, fixer-upper, and you want to include the area that you're working in, because when people go to Google and type find handyman special, Detroit, or whatever it might be, there's a good chance you'll come up right there in the first view of Google. So many times I go to Google and I type a search in, and a Craigslist ad comes up right on that first page in the second or third spot. So go to those sites and let the world know that you sell houses, and you got the junkers and you got the ugly houses at the right price. Remember, you're looking for investors now. You're targeting other investors who you could assign your contracts to, who will buy those houses from you and close with the sellers. And they won't actually buy from you. They'll just buy from your seller, and you make the spread in between. So make sure the world knows about that. Make sure that you put in there the address of your website, if you're using a website, your email address, and your phone number. You don't want to have people read it and love it and not have any way to get in touch with you. And I know it sounds so elementary, but believe me, I've seen it. Now, there's off ways. Also, let me mention this too. Also put in that ad that you buy houses and put your phone number, because you might have an investor hit the site, or just a regular homeowner that happens to be browsing online, hit that site, and they might not have they might not be looking to buy a house from you right now, but they might have a house for sale. So make sure you always put that. Everything you do, like when you're selling a house lease option, when you got an ad in the paper, or you're putting out a bandit sign for a house that you're selling, you should always have "we buy houses too" in that ad, and double the effectiveness of it, or at least give you a shot at buying a house at the same time. Now, there's offline sources that you can use too, and this is the cheapest way, the freest way to start building your buyers list. Get the newspaper and go to the house for sale section. If you see a house that says just rehabbed, you know it's probably an investor who just sold that house. When you or who just rehabbed that house and is selling it. When you're driving down the street and you see a sign that says "we buy houses," in the newspaper in the other section you see "we buy houses" ads. Go to Google and type whatever. Let's say you live in Phoenix. Type "sell my Phoenix house," and you're going to have a whole list of investors come up there that are buying houses. Well, call those people. Call the "we buy houses" guys in your area. Call the "we buy house" signs. Call the ones that come up on Google, and just tell them, "Hi, my name is Nick. I'm an investor in the area. I hear that you buy houses from time to time. Is that true?" And just something like that to open up the conversation, and then explain to them what you do. I'm a wholesaler. I get houses at a good price, and I'm always looking. I can't always do the work on all of them myself. Or you don't even have to say that. Just tell them, I'm an investor. I get houses at a good price. I'm looking for some other investors who might be interested in taking the deals that I don't do myself, or whatever it might be. Just tell them I contract houses and I assign them to other investors. What kind of houses are you looking for? And get some information about them. Find out the price range they're looking for. Find out the area they're looking for. Ask them, and this is important, even if you don't have a website and an email system set up yet, you're doing this all manually on paper, ask them, in the future, do you mind if I send you an email when I get a good house at a good price? And most of them are going to say yes. So get their name, get their address, get their email address, get their phone number, ask some questions and find out what it is that they're into. Some guys only do multifamily units, other guys only do houses under $200,000. Find out what it is they like, but I suggest anytime you get a house under contract that you're going to look to flip or to assign to another investor, send it to your whole list, because you don't know. Sometimes their buying habits change, or a house that 6 months ago they weren't interested in, they might be interested in buying now. So have that list. Again, even if you don't have your website and your whole automatic system set up, do it all manually, but get their email address so when you do set up your automatic system, you can add them to it really easily. Automating this is really the way to go. You really do want to have at least a one-page website. People go to the site, they fill in they read a little bit about you, they fill in the information, it automatically comes to you, and then you can send them all an email all at once when you have a house for sale. Having that buyer's list can make the difference between you taking a couple days to flip a house and taking a couple of weeks to flip a house, or not flipping it at all. So be savvy about that, and again, let them know that you also buy houses, because they might have a deal that they could assign to you and that you could assign to somebody else. You never know how it works. You know, it's a small community. Especially, let me mention this: be honest with these guys. If you know, don't try to BS another investor, because it's a small community and word gets out quick. Let them know exactly what you're doing. Like, I had a guy last week. I had a house that I was looking to assign, and he told me, "Oh, I'm pre-approved. I'm getting my money from a private lender. I can close on that house in a week." So he signed a contract with it to buy the house for me. Well, guess what happened a few days later? One of the places we had the house marketed calls us up and says, "You and another guy are marketing the same house on our website. Whose house is it?" Well, of course, it was our house. We had the contract to buy it. And this other guy who told me, "Oh, we're closing, and here's you know, I'm borrowing the money and all this," he was just trying to flip the house. And I will never even take a call from that jamoke again. And I'll tell you this: if he would have told me up front, "Nick, I'm not buying the house from you. I want to wholesale the house. I want to find another buyer to buy it from me, and then I'll buy it from you." And of course, we wouldn't buy it. We just work it out. I would have been happy. I would have said, "That's a good deal. Go ahead and do it. And you know what? I'll even give you $1,000 or $2,000 out of my cut if you find me a buyer." I'm happy to do that. But since he lied to me and tried to set us up, you know, and in turn, I went and told the seller we had the house sold. Now we'll find a buyer for it. But the point is, he lied to me. Don't do it. It's a small community. You'll screw yourself up over the long run. Again, I'm going to do, if this is into May, or if this is like end of May, just go to the members section. You'll find the teleseminar recording of how to set up a web page and an autoresponder to collect your names with. If this is the end of April or so, I haven't done it yet, fill in the little box below with your name and email address, and I'll let you know when I have the teleseminar. And I'll teach you how for about $50 you can get a one-page website up and your whole autoresponder system going. Don't forget, Flippin' Midnight. We talk to the group live, midnight Eastern time, the first and third Friday of the month. I answer questions, I BS. It is BYOB, so don't expect me to supply the drinks. I guess that's all I have. I hope this was some good advice. Building your buyer's list is an important step of this business. Now just go do it. I'm Nick. This is the Flippin' Right Show. Have a good one and go make an offer.